Hey guys, what's good? It's your boy Tacho here, and we're back for some more Fire Emblem Heroes. So today we got our copy of Resplendent Julia, so we're gonna go ahead and talk about her. But first things first, I just want to say this is probably my favorite artwork so far out of all the Resplendent heroes. They made this Julia look so freaking cute in her neutral art. I love it so much. She's got these big animal eyes, sure, but I don't know. She looks like she definitely could use some hugs and head pats for sure. Also, I love her special attack art too, where she has this giant dragon just coming out of nowhere to sick on the foes. Pretty good stuff. Let me know in the comments section down below, actually, how you guys feel about the art for this Julia. But anyway, let's go on and start talking about the builds and skills you want to give her. So first up, we're going to talk about her base kit, and there's really absolutely nothing of value in here. She comes with freaking Res Up 3 and Breath of Life 3, which are total fodder. I mean, Breath of Life 3 does have some clutch applications in something like Rooker's Sieges, but as far as like general use goes, Breath of Life really fallen on some hard times. There's like no reason to use this skill at all. I will say though, they could do some interesting stuff if they ever gave this skill a level 4 upgrade. Like, imagine if the level 4 Breath of Life, it just recovers 7 HP to all units on the map regardless of where they're positioned. Or maybe if it goes up to plus 10 HP like we saw on Righteous Wind from the Kid Merrick, and he just recovers 10 HP to all allies on the map after he attacks. That would be pretty dope. And I think that would actually give some viability to Breath of Life again. So let's see what they decide to do if they ever give a level 4 upgrade to this skill. Otherwise, she also comes with Naga and Dragon Fang. So this Naga tome, before it got refined, what it did was it gives her effective against dragons and then +2 to defense and res if the foes initiate. That is so bad. Like, even when this unit came out, that was not a very good skill to have on a weapon. The effective against dragon part was pretty good though, because Naui was very common early on, and not only does Julia have color advantage on Naui, but also effective damage as well. So Julia was a pretty solid Naui killer at that point in time. But overall, most people just went ahead and built up Nino as opposed to Julia. Nino is of course very easy to summon on banners, while Julia was 5-star locked. So she kind of went under the radar for a bit. She did end up getting refines though, and 2 of them at that. So she has her own personal refine for Naga, and she also aped the refine that we got on Deirdre. So pretty cool stuff there, and definitely giving this Julia some more viability in terms of builds. As for recommended IVs, I have to say probably go for plus attack. She actually does have a super boon in speed, but her natural speed stat is still very middling even with the super boon. So I don't know if you want to really pump any more points into that. It could end up being very much a legendary Crom situation where a lot of people feel like they prefer to go plus speed because any more attack may be overkill on this unit. So maybe something like that would end up being the case. I don't know. I personally still go plus attack on legendary Crom anyway, and I do say go plus attack on Julia too. It's just going to help her out on pretty much all of the builds you want to run. Okay, so our first budget build for Julia, we're going to be using her personal refine for Naga. So what this does is it's going to grant her Bracing Stance 2, so defense and res up 4 if the foes initiate combat. And also, if the foe is a dragon type opponent, it's going to negate their ability to do adaptive damage, and it's also going to give her a close counter effect. So she's capable of just smacking those dragon units right in the face. Not really that dragons are all that common anymore after we got Dressir, but you do see dragons all the time in arena modes and arena assault. So if you need a cheap unit that can just slay dragons on a dime, this Julia is pretty good for that, and you don't really have to invest too heavily in her for her to just be able to crush all the dragon units. So definitely some good stuff there. We're running Fury 3, Quick Riposte, and Attack Ploy 3. More or less the best budget skill options that you can run on her, as well as Mirror Stance 2 for the Sacred Seal. May as well go ahead and pump up her attack and res, because dragons are not going to be able to target her defense anyway. Also, her res stat is pretty good, so if you need her to bait any old mage that she has color advantage on, or maybe she's neutral against, she can definitely pull that off as well. And if you want to go more high budget on the skills with her Naga Refine, Close Foil is definitely the way to go. This has been like one of the most talked about things on this Julia ever since Close Foil became a thing. So with Close Foil and the Naga Refine together, this makes Julia the only unit in the game right now that is capable of counterattacking all the foes, even when she has Close Foil instead of Close Counter. So you can only imagine how many stats she's gaining from this, from Naga's Bracing Stance 2 and then Close Foil's +5 to attack and defense, and then also being able to counterattack any distance. This Julia is going to be a really good enemy phase option. We're also going with Lull, Attack and Res 3, Attack Smoke, and Quick Riposte. So we're very heavily building up for the enemy phase here, even though she does still have effective against dragons and a really good attack stat too. So if you needed her to player phase, she could be able to sneak in a one-shot on certain foes that she has effective damage on, or foes that she has color advantage on with low res. So not bad. Another thing you can do with this build actually is focus a little bit more on attack. So if you took out Attack Smoke 3 and Quick Riposte 3, you could potentially replace those for Joint Drive Attack and the Sturdy Stance Sacred Seal. And that's just going to give her an additional +8 to attack. This Julia is going to be able to hit like an absolute truck, and it's really easy for her to get one-shots on a lot of glass cannon units. Like Legendary Alm, for example. I just love to bully this guy because he is made out of paper, and he really just can't take a punch to save his life. So by focusing more on attack for Julia, you can potentially get the one-shots on glass cannons like Legendary Alm and stop them from hitting Julia twice, which they would normally be able to do. And that's going to be a really good damage cut right there, because you're only taking one shot. And the more damage you deal is also going to mean more HP recovered with Noontime on this build. So there's definitely some merit to be had if you want to invest more in attack for her. Time's Pulse is also one other option you could go with, so it's going to be a lot easier for her to activate Noontime. Alright, so for our next budget build on Julia, we're going to be running Divine Naga this time. So Divine Naga has a really sick refine as well. It's going to inflict a dull effect on all the foe's stats, so they're not going to be able to use any active buffs, which is of course a very strong effect to have, given the middle finger to Blade Tomes and the like. It also has effective against dragons, of course, and then all stats +3 if she has 3 more res than the foe that she's in combat with. So that shouldn't be too hard to activate. Julia does have a very good res stat, so more often than not you are going to see her able to just get the +3 to all stats from that. We're running Fury once again. It's just a really good budget A skill. Chill res this time from the Tempest Trial Leg Jarn that you can get. It's pretty clutch with Divine Naga, because you can target the highest res foe on the enemy team and then give them -7 res. So more likely that you'll be able to activate that res proc. And you're also going to be dealing more damage as well when you attack those foes. Even Attack Wave, I mean, the wave skills are pretty janky to be honest, but there's really not too many other good options for her in the C slot if we're talking for a budget build. So I don't think even or odd Attack Wave are going to be all that bad if you want to go for those. And of course Death Blow, so we can just pile on even more damage and go for the one-shots. It's really easy for her to one-hit KO the foes, especially if she starts off with Iceberg ready. So maybe support her with Infantry Pulse units if you can, but it's not really a necessity to have to do that. And for the high investment Divine Naga build, we're going to go with the classic AoE spam build that we see a lot on units like Ophelia and stuff. So this type of thing works well on every mage that has a lot of attack and not a lot of speed, just like our girl Julia here. Special Spiral and Heavy Blade, of course, so we can keep on using those AoE specials over and over, and Joint Drive Attack just to get some more attack power. Now, another thing you can do with this build is, instead of Sturdy Impact, you could also go for Fury 4, and that's a good idea because it's going to give you hard stat bonuses as opposed to passive stat bonuses. And of course that's going to be very good because Divine Naga needs her hard res to calculate for that res check, and Blazing Wind also powers up based on your raw attack stat. So Fury 4 definitely has some uses and advantages over Sturdy Impact. You're still also gaining +4 to defense, so it's definitely helping her bulk as well. But I do think Sturdy Impact is just a slight bit better, mainly because it's going to be better before you actually have Blazing Wind ready. And unless you've got 4 units on the team with Infantry Pulse to immediately start her off with Blazing Wind, you're going to need her to at least get into 1 round of combat without the special ready. And that's where Sturdy Impact is definitely going to shine. So I would still give the edge to Sturdy Impact just slightly over Fury 4. And for other options, you could go with Times Pulse to make it easier for her to start with a special. And Res Smoke as well. If you've got Dancer support on the team, Res Smoke and Blazing Wind is going to be a really sick combo when she's taking multiple attacks per turn. So all things to consider, but a very powerful build and a very good player phase option. So that's going to wrap us up for the builds on Julia. A really cool unit, and I'm really glad that she got a nice Resplendent alt today. And it looks like our next Resplendent hero is going to be Takumi, which is honestly kind of dirty because we literally just got Shinin, and he pretty much just changed the game for archers forever. So having a Resplendent Takumi right after Shinin, it just feels like a low blow. There's no way in the world this guy can compete with some of the top tier archers nowadays. Shinin's got built-in close counter and then +5 to all stats. Norn is really easy to get merges on, and her BST is already superb. And Takumi also already got his refine, and it's not a very good one. So, I hate to say it, but this guy is probably just going to be delegated to close counter fodder. So I guess not much has really changed for Takumi. But his artwork is pretty interesting. I think his outfit looks really dope. They did a good job with the hell attire on him. But I do actually like the face a little bit better on the old artwork. So I can't really decide which one I think looks better. Let me know in the comments section down below, guys, actually, which of the Takumi arts do you think looks the best? The new one or the old one? Let me know that down below. But anyways, that's going to wrap us up for today's video. Thanks so much for watching and supporting the channel. And as always, this is your boy Tacho signing out. So take care, fellas, and I will catch you guys again on the flip side.